I'm super clean and she's a bit more relaxed with leaving her stuff laying around. How do we compromise and communicate so I can feel comfortable in my home? Okay, I have two ideas. Number one, you could simply communicate how you're feeling and respectfully and gently ask her if she'll just clean up after herself in the shared spaces. Her room is her room. She can do whatever she wants in there. She wants to poop on the floor. As long as the smell doesn't come into the living room, all good. That's her room. But in the shared spaces, it's got to be clean because that's just fair. You know, I agree. That's fair. I think in a situation where two people are coexisting, if one person has a need or desire that involves safety, cleanliness, health, etc., I think usually that takes precedent over somebody who is like, well, I like to be a free spirit and that's why I like to have my stuff everywhere. It's like, that's not, sorry. If you're living with somebody else, you need to rise to the occasion and do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Do you get what I mean by that? Anyway, that's one thing you could do. And I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, right? Like just sit your roommate down and say, here's how I'm feeling. Can you work on it? And that's an option. It's tough though, because it's like you're asking your roommate to do something that they naturally don't do. And is it the right and fair thing for them to do it out of respect for you? Yes. But a lot of times when you try to change someone, like you have a messy roommate. That is who you are roommates with. Trying to change them, it can happen if they're motivated to be your roommate and they really respect you. But there's also a chance that they'll do it for a week and then stop and get messy again. So I have another idea that I think might work better. Okay. You're somebody who likes being clean and organized, and your roommate does not care about that. I assume you're somebody who's good at cleaning and organizing. I know I am. I'm a very clean and organized person. My house is very clean and organized. I got that from my mom because she is very clean and organized, more so than me. Okay. In fact, when I lived with her when I was younger, we would get in fights about me being more messy than she is. And I'm actually like a pretty organized person. I mean, I guess when I was a kid, I was less organized, but more organized than the average child. And we would still bicker about it. So like, I get it. You know, people have very different standards of living. But here's the compromise that I propose, that you propose to your roommate. Sit your roommate down and say, listen, okay, I've noticed that you just live messier than I do. I like things to be picked up, clean, organized. You don't seem to care about that. And I know that if I ask you to clean up a little bit more after yourself and to keep this place a bit cleaner, that it's going to be hard for you to do that. Because if that's something you wanted to do and were motivated to do, you would be doing it and you're not. So here's a compromise I propose to you. This is what I think you should say to your roommate, okay? You should say, I suggest this compromise. I will clean up after the both of us because I want this home to be clean, but in exchange, I need you to help me with something equally as significant, okay? And you might know what that act of service is. You might not. You might need your roommate to suggest something that they're really good at that they could help you out with. But that could be an interesting compromise. Like, for example, you love cleaning. You're proposing that you can clean up after your roommate. Perhaps they'll say, well, you know what I'm really good at? Grocery shopping. I love grocery shopping and I love cooking. So in exchange, you clean and I'll grocery shop and cook. And I'll also, maybe they'll be generous and saying, you know what? I will also go shopping for all of the cleaning supplies. I just don't want to clean. I don't want to organize. So you tell me what you need. You tell me what you want to eat. And, maybe you work out an arrangement like that. Now, listen, that might not be the answer. It might be something else. It might be like, maybe your roommate has a car and you don't have a car, right? Perhaps in exchange, you clean up the house and your roommate drives you places. They're kind of like your ride. Maybe you were riding your bike before or taking public transportation. Now, you see what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not saying that this is realistic. are going to work for everyone. But it's an interesting concept because I think that there's something to be said for people doing what they're good at. I'm good at cleaning. Like me personally, I'm saying I personally am somebody who's good at cleaning. If I lived with somebody who was messy and I was asking them like, hey, can you clean up after yourself? I can almost guarantee that the way that they would clean up after themselves wouldn't be up to par because we just have a different way of thinking. Like if I had a roommate who would make a bunch of dirty dishes and then not wash them for like a week or until I did it. And I said, hey, can you really start doing your own dishes? Like before I just end up doing it. Let's say they went and did the dishes. I can almost guarantee that they're not going to scrub hard enough. They're not going to use hot enough water. There's still going to be food left over. They're going to put dishes back in the wrong place. It is almost better if I just fucking do it. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that's the case for a lot of people. If you're particular about things, if you like things to be clean, chances are you're going to have a certain way that you want it done. And if you have somebody in your house who's type B, messy, shit everywhere, whatever, they're not going to know how to clean things in a way that's satisfying to you. It doesn't come natural to them. So instead, figure out something that they can help you with so that you have more time to clean, which is something that you're good at. And then they're helping you out with something that you don't like doing as much. Do you see what I'm saying? That feels like it could work.